Hey, how you doing? Hope all's going well. Hope your guitar journey is going famously. One of the most common questions I get is, hey, how can I get my lead guitar playing to the next level? It just isn't sounding right. Or my lead playing just isn't sounding musical. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I can't get it to sound right. I get emails like that all the time. In this video, I'm going to go over the 6 most common, from what I hear, I pulled 6 of the top ones, most common guitar soloing mistakes. Number 1. Too many notes. A lot of times when I get these audio files or students play, they're playing note after note after note after note after note, and it's just way too much. It's too much musical conversation that's not musical. Okay? Just remember the adage, no one likes the guy or gal that talks too much. Same thing with the guitar. The first thing is way too many notes. So you got to cut down on the amount of notes you're playing, which leads into the second, number 2. Number 2 is not enough space, okay? There's not enough, you're playing just note after note after note after note, and you're not letting the notes breathe. You're not letting that musicalness, goodness happen because you're playing too many notes and the listener is trying to grab onto all these different notes and all this stuff, and it's just too much. So the thing is, leave lots of space, especially at first. The third thing I hear a lot as what I think could be improved on is there's not enough musicality, musical touches in the solos that you're trying to play. And what I mean by that is you're not taking the notes and doing things with them that are musically interesting. You're just playing note, 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 right? You have to kind of stop, let the notes breathe, like I said, then apply some vibrato. String bending, being expressive. String bending is like one of the most expressive things you can do, but I don't hear a lot of that in these early on solos. You want to add slides, hammer-ons, pull-offs, anything to get the sound varying a bit so it's not just that one after another single note. Add double stops or 2 notes played at the same time for texture. You need lots of that in the solo to make it interesting, to make it sound right, to make it sound musical. So I don't hear enough of these expressive touches, even if you just change the notes and just start sliding around. And if you want to have instant help with that, I'll give you something right now. Click on the link below and I'll send you a free video lesson that talks a lot about that. It's not on YouTube, where I talk about taking the notes and doing things with them that are musically interesting, taking the notes and starting to really make them sound musical, and all the different things you can do to dress up your soloing. Click on that link, I'll send you that, and I'll send you an ebook that has a lot of scales diagrammed out and soloing strategies, all for free. So be sure to click on that link and take advantage of that. So you need more stuff that's creating different sounds, and a lot of that is techniques and devices, and that takes a while to develop. Fourth thing I hear often is I don't hear enough rhythm vocabulary in your soloing. And when I mean rhythm, I'm not talking about playing the chords behind the jam. I'm talking about where you're just playing so many notes and you're not playing rhythmic phrases to lock into what's going on around you. You're not playing a rhythmic kind of motif and then kind of repeating it and catching like a melody or something. You gotta have a good rhythmic phrasing as part of your soloing repertoire, as well as the single notes. A lot of guitar players think it's all about note choice. And you see so many lessons about that. And students, how do you solo over this? What scale do I use over this? What scale? And scales are important, don't get me wrong. They're the building blocks, the licks and stuff. But you really need to have a really good rhythmic vocabulary to soloing, especially like if you're playing blues. Because if you're playing blues and you're playing pentatonic scales, there's only 5 notes you're playing, right? Those scales have 5-note scales. If you're playing blues scales, that's 6 notes. So you better have a pretty damn good rhythmic vocabulary, because your notes are limited to those 6 notes that you're probably playing, right? So having this good rhythmic vocabulary and locking in to what's going on around you and connecting and not just kind of soloing off in your own world, that's really important, because again, it's drawing the listener in and it's making it sound musical. The 5th thing I often hear that I think needs improvement in soloing when you're starting out is things like, I don't hear enough melody. There's not enough melodicism, if that's a word, melodicism. And this is so important, because what really is catchy, what really draws people into your solos? Melody. It's all about melody, right? Think of the choruses of the songs, right? They're catchy because they're repeated. Get to the chorus and then they repeat the chorus. And that's what kind of stays with people, right? So you want to throw in some melodic touches in your soloing and then vary them. And then you have a few melodic touches and then repeat them throughout the solo. Listen to any solo by like David Gilmour. You know, he's a master at that, at adding these melodic touches. And he's a master at adding these nuances, like what I was mentioning before, through bending, through subtle use of the vibrato of the tremolo arm, right? So, you know, you want to really start thinking about melody and melodicism in your solos. And it just helps the listener latch on, helps people remember. And your solos you could almost sing them, and that's what's going to make them truly memorable. If you can click that subscribe button, that really helps us here. That enables us to keep this content coming. All right, it enables us to let you know when we have new videos coming out. It really helps us, and we really appreciate it. And the sixth and final, most common kind of guitar area with beginner soloing I hear a lot of mistakes is bending out of pitch. And that's a bad one, because when you're bending out of pitch, man, it really can sound very grating. And string bending is an art. And like I was saying earlier, it's one of the most expressive things you can do on guitar. And it takes a long time to master. It really does. But when you're bending strings, you know, you really need to have a target note in mind that you're bending up to. Usually you're bending up to the next note in the scale or the one after that, right? So you just can't be randomly bending notes out of pitch, meaning you're bending the bend too short of the note. You're trying to hit like this note here, and you're bending it short so it sounds flat. Or maybe you're over bending it and it sounds sharp, which is really bad when you bend out of tune sharp. When you should be like right in here, in this area, right? So string bending is an art. It takes a long time to develop, but you really have to listen. And you really have to know, okay, in this scale, I know I could bend this note to this note. And I know I can bend this note to this note. I talk about that in that ebook that you can get. There's a whole page on which strings to try to bend in certain scales. And you really have to get your ear dialed into that. It sounds so much, you know, more musical when you're not having issues bending in pitch. So there's, in my opinion, 6 of the most common soloing mistakes. Click on that link below, and I want you to grab that free video lesson and the free ebook on how you could start sounding more musical. I want you to stay positive. And I also want you to remember, like I said earlier, that you are not alone, that we all go through this as we're refining our art. It's part of the process. Remember, your guitar playing is an evolution. And please remember to subscribe to the channel. That really helps us. It helps us to keep bringing the lessons. It helps us keep bringing the content. Click the like button if you like the video. Please leave us a comment. Keep rocking. Stay positive. Swing for the fences. And I will see you in the next lesson.